Ozymandias by Percy Bysshe Shelley. Ozymandias is Greek name for the Egyptian pharaoh Ramesses. He considered himself to be the greatest of the rulers, but he had to die eventually, and now there is nothing left except his broken statue. Shelley was one of the major English Romantic poets. Harold Bloom calls him a lyric poet without a rival. The poem Ozymandias describes a ruined statue of an ancient king in an empty desert. Although the king's statue boastfully commands onlookers to look at my work, ye are mighty and despair, there are no works left to be examined. The king's cities, empire, and power have all disappeared over time. The speaker recalls having met a traveler from an antique land who told him a story about the ruins of a statue in the desert of his native country. Two vast legs of stone stand without a body, and near them in the sand lies the massive head half buried in the sand. Visage meaning face. The frown and the sneer of cold command on the statue's face indicate that the sculptor understood the passions and emotions of the statue's subject. Frown and wrinkled lips indicate displeasure and anger. Sneer meaning disgust, and cold command describing the harsh commands given by the ruler. And on the pedestal these words appear: My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. The words on the pedestal represent Ozymandias' nature very vividly. He was a powerful ruler and proud of his might, but there is nothing left now. Ozymandias is no more. His might is gone, and his empire is not there. What remains now is the broken sculptor. The broken, ruined sculptor stands in the never-ending sand spread all over the desert. A poem of 14 lines is called a sonnet. Ozymandias is a sonnet. It has a set of 8 lines and another set of 6 lines. Altogether it makes 14 lines. While the octave describes the might of Ozymandias, the sestet brings about his fall with the volta change in theme. So both the octave and the sestet have their own themes, and line number 9 gives a dramatic turn to the poem. Irony. Irony is a figure of speech in which a person says something that is opposite to reality. For example, Ozymandias calls himself King of Kings when actually nothing is left of his magnificent empire. Metaphor. Metaphor are expressions used to draw similarity between two things. For example, the statue is a metaphor for power and command. Personification. The stone statue has been referred to as a real person. This is called personification. Imagery. Imagery is used to make a reader feel the poem through his 5 senses. The poet has used images involving sense of sight to help the readers visualize the statue and its surroundings. Alliteration. The repetition of same consonant sounds is called alliteration. Alliterations make a poem musical and rhythmic. Examples are boundless and bare. Alliteration of B sound, boundless and bare. Lone and level, the alliteration of L sound, lone and level. Cold command. Here the alliteration is of K sound, C, K sound, cold command. Assonance. The repetition of the same vowel sound is called assonance. Please remember, alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds, whereas assonance is the repetition of the vowel sounds. Assonance makes the poem musical and interesting. For example, sand, stand, well read. Here we have the repetition of A sound, sand, A, sand, and stand, A sound, well read. Well, here the repetition of vowel sound E is called assonance.